just have a very summary about how the way Vietnamese collect the data, uh, analyze the data, and also make the decision from the livestock data system in Vietnam. And my presentation is very short term, so I just have a quick presentation here. And the most important that you know how the Vietnam system for livestock data to be processed. So I will focus on four things. First, about how livestock production in Vietnam and the way we collect the data, and also how the livestock data impact for the system. And we also have to have short-term and also long-term strategy for the livestock and also statistic. In Vietnam, also have four agriculture producing subsector: livestock, crop, forestry, and also fishery. And every year we can export about total about 40 billion US dollar to the world. So not only in the domestic case consumption, we also have to thinking the way to improve the productivity and also the quality, especially for the food safety. So we also can export more agro products from our country. For the livestock, every year we also have better growth for pig and also for poultry, but also very high for dairy cattle. But we have serious problem about the growth rate from buffalo, because every year also about 2 or 4% reduce, and the population now for buffalo just only 2.5 million. But for the dairy, we have very high growth rate, every year more than 10%, because the dairy is not traditional carrier in Vietnam. So now we have the total amount almost 300,000 dairy heads, and we can produce about 40% of the total product, and 60% dairy product we have to import from different countries to Vietnam. And for the livestock, we also have very high from pork and also poultry. And pork meat in Vietnam contribute about more than 74%, and about 18% belong to the poultry meat, and about just 6% including beef or goat meat, and also a little bit sheep meat also. So pork meat in Vietnam is very important, and every year, on average, every Vietnamese people eat about 39 kg of carcass, yeah, and about 115 chicken eggs, and also about 28 kg of different products from dairy. And here also show about how the way Vietnamese is livestock, but very important that now we do not have the data exactly about the carcass in total, but just indicate about the live weight. So sometimes very difficult to compare with Vietnam or some country in Asia, Southeast Asia, or for international system. So when we want to compare, and then we have to convert it from the live weight into the carcass. That we have problem with that, because our system do not have the carcass system. We have to convert it from live weight. And here, from the data, we first also have a number of items for the livestock data, but focus on the production value. But we do not have the link between the livestock population and also the economy value from the livestock system. So sometimes very difficult to make the decision that is the benefit and how is the efficiency from the system. How to compare the efficiency from buffalo or from pork or from chicken or from the dairy. So also help zip need to be then improved in the near future for our livestock database. And for also very specific technical growth or animal reproduction, we also focus on average daily gain or time for testing or survival rate or FCR or something like that. But also not only in the household system. We have only specific data from the farming system because in the farming system, they have the software, they have the tool for collecting the data, but very difficult to have the data from the household system because the farmer, they are very reluctant to write on the paper or put on the smartphone. Sometimes they don't want to follow that. So now we have to put in the livestock law just passed by in this month, and every livestock producer don't care about farmer or small one or household or big farmer. They have to record the data for traceability and for food safety and to balance between the input and also the output for the system. And here we also have the data for the production, but we also need more the connection between different species and different breeds, and also how compare the technical data for household system and also the farming system. But in Vietnam now, we also have very big farm. For example, the TS Mill, that is very big company now. They have about 45,000 dairy heads in one complex. So it is so different, so big gap compared with the household system. Give about 10 or 15 dairy heads, so it is quite difficult to compare that. So we also need to thinking the way how to access, so to make the supply data and also the end user data to not so big different during the connection. And for the commercial, we also have the data for how the housing to be set up, the equipment, also for the supply. But we do have the data about the commercial feed. So sometimes we do not know exactly how many tons of pork can produce every month or every quarter. So we have to base on how many tons of commercial fish and how many livestock breed, for example, pig breed or chicken breed, and then we convert it for how is the productivity we can obtain. That is indirect way to have the data. And we also very poor data about the labor contribute for the product. For example, we do not have exactly the number, how many hours the farmer can use for producing 1 kg of pork or chicken or dairy, and sometimes also very difficult for make the connection in the household system. For the breeding system, we now for the pigs it better. We have the data for GDP, PS, and also for the commercial stock. And we also have applied several technical software and to follow and also to collect the data and also analyze the data to make the decision for the producer. And here we also have the data for the import and also the export for product. But you know that for import, we have to import different categories for the fish and also for the additive and vaccine and also equipment and export. Now we just have export a little bit salted eggs and also sucking pig and a little bit honey and most of the livestock product we can consume in the country, but export very little. And we also have the measures the data for the environment and for how we the climate change impact to the system. And very common in Vietnam now, we also apply the biogas system for the treating with the livestock manure. And one of the famous things that we have very good system for the biogas. And then now we have to sell the carbon credit on the international market, and every year we can earn about more than $1 million from selling the carbon credit. But not only from the farming system, we sell the carbon credit from the household system, about 10 to 8 to 10 cubic meter. And a very household biogas digester, we can reduce the CO2 equivalent about 6 tons per year. And 1 ton we can sell about, on average, about $2 per ton. And we also have the data for the link between different partners in our system. And we also focus how this data can make the thing for the producer and also for the policy maker, and also to link between the central and also province and also different the partner in the system. And you also know that in Vietnam, normally we have two systems for the livestock data. First, we have the central level, that is the data from the General Statistics Office. And at provincial level, we also have the data collecting from the provincial level. And sometimes we also have to develop the way how to check between the data from the central level and also from the provincial level, and looking for what is the difference between them. And sometimes we found about 20% or 15% difference between the two systems. So sometimes also not the same with the whole system in Vietnam for the data. And we also need the livestock data for developing the database, and we hope that in the near future we have precise data and information. It's good for us to set up the system to get how to meeting with the requirement from the market and from the production system. And for the strategy, we also think that for Vietnam, it is very important to make the data from practical system with the data we use for the end user and also the policy maker. And very important point that Vietnam also need to develop the database so we can use that database to share and to compare with the other country and also global community. And also very important that we have to harmonize data categories from Vietnam and also suitable with the regional level and also the global level, and also how to fit with the definition from the FAO, and also so sometimes we can compare livestock system from Vietnam and also to the other country to know how we Vietnam standing in the system for global level. And today we also think that it is very good for Vietnam when some research, livestock research in Vietnam have very good cooperation with different international operations to improve the data system for the Vietnam livestock sector.